I will manage to keep you focused because I know that you have a lot of food to process. So I'm here to present a new task. We've been so-called the brave new task because I think you know that it can be complicated to set everything from the beginning. So I'm Pierre-Etienne Martin from the University of Bordeaux at the library, which is a laboratory of computer science. And I'm working with Jenny, Boris, Renaud, Laurent, Jordan, who is also a participant of the task as myself, and Julien. And so we are working on sport video classification task, and we apply that to table tennis. So what's the goal of this task? So actually, this task is kind of my PhD, and the goal of my PhD is to improve athlete performances through tools for teacher and athletes. But what kind of tools we can develop? This is a kind of video that we have in table tennis. When you have a student performing a game, this is what happens. As an input, there is not much happening, and there is sometimes something happening, which is a stroke. So what we want to do is be able to segment in time and to be able to classify the stroke that has been performed. In this way, we can imagine a platform where we can look for a player, and then we be able to segment the video where there is this player and have a profile of the player. The teacher will then be able to know the weaknesses, the strength of the player, and adapt his training to improve as much as possible the performance. For this, we build a new dataset, which is called TT Stroke 21. It has been done at the University of Bordeaux with students. So the acquisition process is sensorless, of course. We want to use only camera, like that people can perform without have sensor on them, so in natural condition. We build an annotation platform where students and professionals actually in table tennis annotated the video, when a move starts, when it ends, and what kind of move it is. And those are some samples. However, we have some particular condition on this dataset because we can identify the players. So we needed to have some participant with an institutional address, and also they needed to accept some particular conditions. Which looks kind of like this, and this was time consuming, and I think we lost some participants on the way because we had to release the data a bit later than expected. The task itself, so we provide a train set fully annotated and a test set partially annotated. We have 20 classes and people can submit 4 runs. The goal is to just set the unknown class to the class of the stroke. So the segmentation, the temporal segmentation is already done. For that we provide MP4 videos and 2 XML files, the one for training and the one for tests, and people have just to return the test, and then we can evaluate their performance. The distribution is set this way, so the train and tests are separate. They are separated video, which makes the task more challenging. We have 77 videos, which represent more or less 750 strokes for the train, and for the test we have a total of 354. So we are testing on quite a big amount of data. The distribution, so it is on. We should have more or less the same color for each stroke. I know that you cannot see well, but we can see that the proportions are more or less the same for the training and the test set. Maybe not here. But so we keep the same distribution on both of the sets. The evaluation, so first we were thinking to just give the accuracy of the classification, but then we've seen that it can be very complicated and a very challenging task. So we actually grouped the different strokes. So for strokes we have services, offensive, defensive, so 3 types. We also have backhand, and forehand. And we can do the intersection of both, which can make the task a bit simpler and get some accuracy and more feedback for the participant. For participation, we had 13 subscriptions. Sadly, 1 was a robot. 1 subscribed twice. 1 was without institutional address, and 3 did not answer when we asked for institutional address. And another 1 did not sign the particular condition. So we had 6 participants who had access to the data. But in total we had only 3 submissions because 2 did not answer and 1 gave up. So we have 3 working note papers, but today we have only 2 presentations, so Jordan and myself. For the best friends, so the University of Bordeaux managed to have the best friend. As you can see, it's very low. We have only 23% of accuracy among all the classes. We see why in the presentation of the work, but you have to know that it's fine-grained classification. The strokes are very similar. Even me, I cannot say which class is it because I'm not a professional. And even professionals sometimes disagree about the class. And about the hand, we have 76, which is a bit surprising because, well, the hand should be easier, and 75 and 54. And which is funny also, it's for the other teams, because maybe the University of La Rochelle performed better than the people from India. But then if we look at the hand type and hand plus type group, they perform better than the University of La Rochelle. So it means that they still learn something which was meaningful for the dataset. So we have some suggestions. So if you want to participate, you should pay attention. You should build negative samples, because the negative samples will help you classify all the rest, and you will not focus, for example, on the color of the shirt or how the headdress of the person. We are also thinking about multi-label or cascade classification with forehand, backhand. Then you can decide if it's offensive, defensive services, and then the type of stroke. Also, to avoid overfitting, we suggest to do very good data augmentation. So the conclusion, we have a complicated task because we have the limited data set. And some players just come back several times in the videos, and they perform sometimes the same stroke in one video. So you can overfit this kind of stroke. And we have, of course, a high inter-similarity. We have a lot of room for improvements, and the task will be reconducted next year. So if you want to participate, just free welcome to ask a question, and you can see us as a breakout a bit later in the day. Thank you. Merci.